Sometimes the people you love most can break your heart and teach you the greatest lessons. This is a gripping story of betrayal, hidden wealth, and a mother's quiet plan to help her daughter rediscover what truly matters. As you read, ask yourself, what would you do if someone you raised betrayed you like this? Read on and share your thoughts at the end. Your perspective might inspire someone else. When 70-year-old Maria Alvarez sat in the doctor's waiting room, her phone buzzed with a call that would change everything. On the other end, her only daughter, Sofia, sounded strangely cold. "Mom," Sofia said flatly, "we're flying to Europe tomorrow. I already sold your beach cottage and the old truck. We needed the money. Bye." The line went dead. Maria's heart thudded, but she didn't cry. 45 years of sacrifices, late nights, double shifts, and a lifetime of unconditional love had been swept aside with a single call. Yet an unexpected calm settled over her. 6 months earlier, Maria had buried her husband Carlos, who had died suddenly over breakfast, still holding the newspaper he loved. In the days after, Sofia had played the dutiful daughter, helping with the funeral, urging her mother to get medical checkups, smiling the soft smile Maria thought was love. But now that smile seemed like strategy. That beach cottage had been Maria and Carlos's sanctuary, the place where Sofia once ran through sand with salt-streaked hair. And the old pickup truck? Carlos had babied it every Sunday, his scent still clinging to the worn seats. Those things weren't just possessions, they were memories, the last tangible pieces of the man she'd loved for decades. Maria took a deep breath and remembered something she'd nearly forgotten. 3 days before his death, Carlos had handed her a sealed manila envelope. "Open it when you feel ready," he had said. After the funeral, lost in grief, she'd tucked it into her dresser and forgotten it. The doctor pronounced her healthy, but her mind was already racing. She rode the bus home, her car, now stolen by her own daughter, while the city blurred past. Her life, it seemed, had been erased. Yet there was something almost poetic about it. Sofia thought she'd left her mother with nothing. Maria went straight to her bedroom and pulled the envelope from the drawer. Inside were legal documents, deeds, and a letter in Carlos's careful handwriting. "My dearest Maria," it began. "If you are reading this, I'm gone. Over the years, I quietly invested our savings. We own more than you know, multiple properties, including the apartment building where Sofia lives, shares in thriving companies, and significant bank accounts. I kept this from you to spare you worry and to ensure Sofia loved us for who we were, not what we had. Now, all of it belongs to you." Maria's breath caught. Her husband, a modest city bus driver, had secretly built a small empire. She wasn't just comfortable, she was far richer than she'd ever imagined. And Sofia had sold the beach cottage illegally for far less than it was worth. The next day, Sofia called again, her voice syrupy sweet. "Mom, we transferred your share of the sale." 30% more than fair. Edward's European investment is huge. 30% of my own property, Maria thought wryly. But she simply replied, "Have a safe trip." After the call ended, Maria laughed for the first time in months, a sharp, almost joyful laugh. It wasn't about the money. It was the casual cruelty, 45 years of love dismissed in 2 minutes. She checked her bank account. The deposit was there, a mockery of generosity. From her window, she watched Sofia and Edward depart with expensive luggage, never glancing back. Maria spent the evening at her kitchen table. Carlos's documents spread before her like a secret map. She could expose Sofia's fraud, reclaim the cottage and the truck with a single legal motion. But revenge alone wouldn't heal anything. She phoned Mr. Pracht Peterson, the family's lawyer, who confirmed what she suspected. The sale was illegal. "We can recover everything and sue your daughter for fraud," he said. "No," Maria replied. "I want this done quietly. She mustn't know I'm behind it." Over the next weeks, Maria lived a double life. To neighbors, she was the pitied widow, abandoned by a selfish daughter. But in secret, she maneuvered like the true heiress she was. Mr. Peterson quietly reversed the sale of the beach cottage and began transferring full control of the properties into Maria's name. Her neighbors clucked sympathetically. Aurora from next door offered groceries. Maria smiled, thanked them, and watered her garden. Inside, she felt the thrill of a secret plan unfolding. When the lawyer confirmed the beach cottage was once again hers, Maria made a solitary trip to the shore. She lingered outside the familiar cream-colored house, recalling the smell of grilled fish, the laughter of summers past, and the porch Carlos had built by hand. Strangers had believed Sophia's lie that her mother was gravely ill and desperate to sell. That night, Maria asked Mr. Peterson to track down the old pickup truck. It proved harder, months earlier. In her grief, she had signed a power of attorney Sophia presented as funeral paperwork, enabling her daughter to sell it. But Peterson found the buyer, an acquaintance who agreed to return it for a small compensation. Piece by piece, Maria reclaimed what had been stolen, while Sophia wandered Europe oblivious. Then word spread through the neighborhood. Edward's debts were unraveling. The bank discovered he'd taken risky loans using the apartment he and Sophia lived in as collateral property Maria secretly owned. Edward fled Paris with another woman, leaving Sophia stranded. Maria watched the stars that night and whispered to Carlos, "Your plan is working." Soon after, Mr. Peterson reported, "Your daughter just returned from Europe." Alone, Edward stayed behind. Maria's heart quickened. The first move of her quiet lesson was complete. Sophia would soon receive an eviction notice, signed not by her mother but by Carlos Investments Inc., the holding company Carlos had created. The eviction notice landed like a thunderclap. Delivered by the doorman of the upscale apartment Sophia had once called home, it bore the letterhead of Carlos Investments Inc., a name that meant nothing to her. The letter gave her 30 days to vacate. That morning, as Maria brewed coffee, the phone rang. "Mom," Sophia's voice trembled with panic. "I just got a letter saying I have to leave my apartment in 30 days. It's from some company called Carlos Investments." "Do you know anything about this?" Maria allowed a beat of silence. "Carlos Investments?" "No, honey, that sounds strange." "Are you sure it's legitimate?" "Yes, it looks official." "Edward's gone. He left me in Paris with nothing. I came home to this," her voice cracked. "Mom, I don't understand what's happening." Maria softened her tone, but not her resolve. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart." "Why don't you come over? We can talk." An hour later, Sophia stood at her mother's door, disheveled and pale. The woman who had once strutted through life with designer bags now clutched a single, battered suitcase. Maria noticed how much weight her daughter had lost, the dark crescents beneath her eyes. "Come in, honey. You look exhausted." Sophia hesitated, then collapsed into her mother's arms, sobbing. "Mom, I was so wrong. Edward, he ran off with another woman. There was never any business deal in Europe. It was all a lie." Maria stroked her daughter's hair, a bittersweet ache tightening her chest. "I'm so sorry, Sophia. He left me buried in his debts. The banks say because we're married, I'm responsible. And now this eviction. Mom, I have nowhere to go. Can I stay here for a while?" There it was, the plea Maria had anticipated. "Of course, sweetheart," she said calmly. "This will always be your home." For the first time in months, mother and daughter sat at the same kitchen table, sharing coffee in silence. But Maria's thoughts were sharp. This wasn't about punishing Sophia. It was about letting her discover what her choices had cost. Sophia settled into her childhood bedroom, the floral wallpaper faded but familiar. To Maria's neighbors, it looked like simple family reconciliation. Only Maria and her late husband knew the truth. This was a carefully staged turning point. The next evening, as they cleaned up after dinner, Sophia handed her mother a small manila envelope. "I found this in Edward's things. It has your name on it." Maria's heart skipped. Carlos's handwriting marked the envelope. She opened it carefully. Inside was a brief note and a small key. "My dearest Maria," the letter read, "if you're reading this after opening the first envelope, it means Sophia is in trouble. This key belongs to safety deposit box W247 at the central bank. Use what you find there to help her wisely. Sophia read over her shoulder. A safety deposit box? Dad had a secret box? Apparently, Maria said, feigning surprise. I had no idea. Mom, we have to see what's inside. Maybe it can help us. Maria agreed to visit the bank the next morning. The clerk unlocked box 247 and slid it forward. Inside lay velvet pouches glimmering with jewels, emeralds, pearls, heirloom rings, alongside a note detailing their origin and value, nearly $200,000. Sophia's eyes widened. Mom, this is a fortune. Maria gently lifted an emerald necklace. Your father saved these. We could sell some, Sophia said eagerly. Pay off the most urgent debts, maybe even save the house. Maria studied her daughter. Even now, her first instinct was to funnel resources toward cleaning Edward's mess. These belong to your father, Maria said slowly. Are you sure you want to use them for Edward's debts? What choice do I have? If I don't pay something soon, the banks will come after everything, even this house. Maria nodded, hiding the truth. The house was already safe, and Sophia's debts were not her burden to bear. Over the next week, Sophia moved carefully, researching jewelers, negotiating sales. She sold most of the pieces for $180,000, keeping only Maria's engagement ring and a delicate necklace from her grandmother. Maria watched in silence as her daughter, once careless with money, now agonized over every decision. At night, Sophia spoke of her regrets. I can't believe how blind I was, Mom. Edward forged my signature on some of those loans. But the banks don't care. They say I'm still responsible. I thought I was building a life with someone who loved me. Instead, I ruined yours and mine. Maria's heart ached, but she held her role. People make mistakes, Sophia. What matters is what you do now. Determined, Sophia found a part-time job cleaning offices at night. It's not glamorous, she admitted, slipping on her plain uniform, but it's honest work. I can't live off you, Mom. Maria watched her daughter leave each evening, pride and sorrow mixing. Sophia had never worked a menial job in her life, yet she returned home tired but upright, a quiet dignity in her step. Meanwhile, Maria and Mr. Peterson worked behind the scenes. The lawyer uncovered proof of Edward's forgery and fraud, enough to absolve Sophia of every debt, but Maria instructed him to keep silent until the legal process was complete. Weeks passed. Sophia struggled but adapted. She learned to budget, to cook simple meals, to appreciate every dollar earned. Her neighbors noticed the change. She's different, Aurora whispered one evening, humbled. Grateful. Maria only smiled. Finally, Mr. Peterson called. We have everything we need. Edward's fraud is proven. Sophia is free of all debts. Maria arranged a meeting at Peterson's office and invited Sophia without explaining why. Mom, Sophia said nervously, I can't afford a lawyer. What if this is bad news? Just hear him out, Maria replied. Mr. Ria replied. Peterson greeted them warmly and slid a folder across the desk. Miss Alvarez, these documents prove Edward forged your signature. You are not responsible for his debts. Sophia blinked, stunned. But who paid for this investigation? Maria met her gaze. I did. Sophia shook her head. Mom, how? We sold everything. You barely had anything left. Maria took a breath. There's something you don't know. Your father left us far more than you imagined. Peterson produced another folder. Deeds, bank statements, investment records, proof of the hidden fortune. Sophia's hands trembled as she read. You own the apartment building where I lived? And all these other properties? All this time? Yes, Maria said softly. Since the day your father died. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. You knew when I came back, broke and desperate? You watched me struggle? Yes. Why, Mom? Why didn't you just help me? Maria's voice was gentle but firm. Because you needed to learn something no one could teach you with words. You needed to understand the value of love, family, and responsibility. You left me when I needed you most. You sold our memories for quick cash. I couldn't rescue you with money. You had to rescue yourself first. Sophia covered her face and wept, this time not from fear or self-pity, but from understanding. I treated you like you were nothing, she whispered. And you saved me anyway. Yes, Maria said, but not by paying your debts. I saved you by letting you grow. When they left the office, Sophia walked beside her mother in silence, a new respect in her eyes. The journey wasn't over, but the lesson had begun to take root. In the weeks after the revelation at Mr. Batch's Peterson's office, a quiet but profound shift settled over Maria's home. Sophia still woke before dawn for her cleaning job, but now there was a steadiness in her that Maria had never seen, a quiet pride that came not from wealth, but from earning every dollar with her own hands. One night, as Sophia came in with her work shoes dusty and her shoulders tired, she placed her wages on the table and smiled. "Mom, I want to help with the household expenses." Maria shook her head gently. "You don't have to." "I do," Sophia interrupted softly. "Not because you need it, but because I need to. I took our family for granted. This is my way of proving I've learned." Maria felt her heart swell. This was the daughter she had always hoped to see, not the entitled woman who once sold memories for quick cash, but a woman of humility and resolve. Aurora, their watchful neighbor, stopped by for tea and marveled at Sophia's transformation. "When she left, I feared you'd never forgive her," Aurora said quietly. "But you gave her space to find her own strength." "That's not just forgiveness, Maria, that's wisdom." Maria smiled, remembering the long nights when she had doubted herself, when she had almost revealed the truth too soon. It wasn't easy to watch her suffer, she admitted. But sometimes love isn't rescuing, it's letting someone learn. Sophia soon began talking about her future in a way that surprised even herself. "I want to study social work," she told her mother one evening as they washed dishes side by side. "I've seen how many people, especially women, get trapped in bad situations. I want to help them find their way back, like you helped me." Maria's chest tightened with quiet pride. "That sounds perfect for you. I'll keep working nights until I can afford the classes," Sophia said. "I want to earn it myself." Weeks turned into months. Sophia applied to a university program and was accepted into a master's track in social work. She insisted on paying for her studies with her own wages and savings, despite knowing her mother's fortune could cover everything. "It's not about money anymore," she explained. "It's about becoming the kind of person I can respect." Then one evening, Sophia arrived home with a letter postmarked from France. "It's from Edward," she said flatly. "He's in prison for marriage fraud. He says he regrets everything and wants my forgiveness." Maria watched her daughter's face, searching for anger or pain. Instead, Sophia folded the letter calmly. "I don't feel anything, Mom. No rage. No sadness. Just nothing. That chapter of my life is closed." "Will you write back?" Maria asked. "No. There's nothing left to say. The woman who married him doesn't exist anymore." Maria recognized the quiet finality in her voice. Edward's betrayal had once seemed like the end of Sophia's world. Now it was simply a lesson, a painful but necessary step toward the woman she was becoming. 6 months after returning from Europe, Sophia received her university acceptance letter. She found Maria in the kitchen and waved the envelope like a flag of triumph. "I got in, and Mom, I'm paying for it myself." Maria hugged her tightly, tears of pride filling her eyes. "Your father would be so proud," she whispered. Not long after, Sophia proposed something that took Maria's breath away. "Mom, I want to turn the beach cottage into a shelter, a temporary haven for women escaping abuse or financial abandonment. We can fund it through the foundation you started. That house should be more than just our memory. It should be hope for others." Maria felt a lump in her throat. "Your father always said a home isn't truly a home until it opens its doors to those in need. He would have loved this." Together, mother and daughter spent weekends cleaning the cottage, repairing the porch Carlos had built, and hanging photos of the family who once filled it with laughter. But now, their work had a purpose beyond memory. It would soon be a refuge for others seeking a fresh start. On a golden afternoon, they sat side by side on the porch as the sun set over the ocean. Sophia looked out at the waves, her voice steady. "When I sold this house, I didn't feel a thing. I thought it was just property. Now I know it holds everything money can't buy. Love, trust, the roots of our family." "I'll never forget that again." Maria squeezed her daughter's hand. "You've turned pain into something powerful, Sophia." "That's what real wealth is." Sophia nodded. "Edward gave me empty promises. You gave me the hard truth I needed. You showed me what love really means, teaching someone the lesson they need even when it hurts." Maria gazed at the horizon where sky met sea, feeling Carlos's presence in the warm evening air. For the first time since his death, she felt his quiet approval. "We did it, my love," she thought. "Our daughter finally understands what truly matters." The wind carried the scent of salt and pine. Maria closed her eyes and listened to the rhythm of the waves, a rhythm that matched the steady beat of her own heart. Justice had come not as revenge, but as transformation of a daughter's character and of a mother's love into something far greater than wealth. Maria's story reminds us that the deepest love doesn't always rush in to rescue it, sometimes stands back, allowing the people we cherish to find their own strength. What about you? Have you ever had to let someone you love struggle in order for them to grow? Share your thoughts or a lesson you've learned in the comments. Your insight might help someone who's walking that same difficult path right now.